Hi, folks. This is Mountain Man coming to you from parts unknown. Ha ha! Man, I tell you what, this was a chocolate and peanut butter kneading broadcast. Get myself fired up for all this stuff that got dumped out on a Friday. The people can look at and talk about all weekend about Fanny, Jack. Even I asked last night, didn't I? I said, what about Alvin Bragg? Nobody's been talking about Alvin Bragg. Well, he's catching a raft today for letting those migrants go that beat up the police officers and stole their phone. So I don't know who's not in trouble. At least publicly known now. People are hearing about it and seeing these people for what they are. A bunch of cronies and criminals that are headhunting Mr. T. Hi, Quilt. Hi, Wicked Trillium. Chris, how you doing? Tennessee. Leisha. Susie. Jet lag. Christopher, I want to thank you for going by Buy Me a Coffee. I noticed that just before I went live. So I got for channel support, it's Buy Me a Coffee. You can just punch in Mountain Man and I'll pop up. I guess I'm the only Mountain Man. Hi, Diane. How are you? Thank you, Christopher. I appreciate it. Let's see. Wanda, Georgia. Nice to see you. And did I miss anybody? Hello, Melinda. Hello, Nikki. How you doing? Rubber Toe. Alan. Let's see. Lone Wolf. Haha. Nice to see you. Prototype. Gloria. William. Sissy. Well, we got a crowd coming in. Angel, how are you doing? Ian. So, yeah, they're not going to have a very fun weekend, any of them. And boy, didn't I hit it on the head, because I talked about it last night, but I also talked about I don't know, last week sometime, about Jack having to go in for his ex parte. And I got some clippings where the mainstream media called it secret meetings, between Jack and Judge Cannon. Yeah, and I said, well, what if they give him if he walks in the room, finds out he's been indicted? That's a little extreme, but I've got in my thumbnail, grand juries. Nobody's going to tell me that there are not grand juries convened that are specifically looking at these individuals and organizations that have been attacking Mr. T relentlessly, plus his family. Hi, Ingrid. How are you? Jersey Joe, how you doing? Hi, Debbie. So I know there's grand juries, and I know Jack Smith's being looked at because somebody dropped a dime a couple of weeks ago that he was embroiled in a extortion scheme overseas. Hi, Ken. How are you doing? So, I mean, we let our minds wander sometimes about, wouldn't it be nice if? Wouldn't it be nice if? Mr. Smith, this is Judge Cannon's office, and we want to schedule this meeting with you on a certain day. Ex parte, just you come by yourself. Yeah, the judge would like to have a word with you. Okay. And he walks in there. Boy, wouldn't that be nice if he saw a bunch of military hardware sitting on either side and I'm talking badges and ribbons and ball caps, or it might have been just black suits and black ties with briefcases. Judge Advocate General. I don't know. Wouldn't that be some? They'd say, Mr. Smith, election security is national security. It's falls under the purview of the Department of Defense. Don't you know that? No, that's just me going through my mind. Wouldn't it be nice? So you never know, that may have happened. Or the Inspector General, Horowitz, Huber. Yeah, we got to think. Remember, that's still in the cards. Horowitz, Huber, Durham, and I believe Sessions. And people say, well, Sessions, he's not in office anymore. Sessions, he ran for the Senate and he lost. So how he can't be involved? Oh, yes, he can. He could be a DAO, directly appointed officer. Hello, David. All right, Connecticut. That's right, Doug. The hammer's about to drop. Well, actually, they've been tapping her on the head with it for a couple of days. She's been getting on the head. Highway controlling rehab next. Oh, 57 staples. Jiminy Crickets. What'd you get your knee operated on? Nice to see you. So, anyway, who knows what happened in that private meeting, but we all know that at least on Chutkin's calendar, what was it, March 4th, they were shooting for a trial that disappeared off the docket. And I kind of got wind of that. I keep an eye on some of these attorneys. Some of them, they may not be practicing attorneys. They may just have degrees. I don't know. They don't disclose. They should disclose. And one character, he does, he has a channel, something to do with like federal workers, retired federal workers, and he's got the TD and then the S on the end of it, really bad. But anyway, I keep an eye on them to get their pulse. And I didn't see, I didn't go to Midas touched in the head yet. I'm going to, though. I want to see how they're reacting out of this stuff. But one of them had a thumbnail that said, the delay in these trials was making him nervous. Here we go. And, you know, I don't click on the videos. I'll look in the thumbnail and the title and see what they're talking about. And I'll see what their past videos were about. I don't need to watch it. I know it's just all a bunch of idiocy and parroting the mainstream media. But let's see, talking feds. The thumbnail said it was worrisome or concerning that the Trump trials, the announcement about his immunity before the Supreme Court has been delayed or hadn't been let out. They could sit on that thing for months. And this other guy, I guess that was before they found out that Chutkin's case with Jack Smith got totally plucked off the calendar. It's gone. And people are like, what does that mean? And they're trying to read tea leaves, and it makes them nervous. And there's this one guy, I'll tell you who he is. I guess he's an attorney. Let me find him. There he is. What they're doing is, instead of the mainstream media reporting on the fact that the trial date just disappeared off the calendar, they're throwing up a bunch of other stuff. When I go to look up Jack Smith, special counsel, what's the news stories? One of the things they put up was the CEO that served 100 days in jail at the age of 75 or 76 because they drummed up these novel charges. Nobody's ever been convicted or charged with what he was convicted and charged and convicted over, which was not paying taxes on employee perks. Well, the article I read said that they were looking at charging him for perjury because he testified in the Engoron trial with this business that he supposedly defrauded people by getting a loan, paying it back, and making money with businesses and all that stuff. That's fraud. So I said, wow, they're thinking about it. So I read the article, and I got some of it in here. I'll tell you what they say. But I found this guy's Glenn Kirshner. I call him Kojak. He put out a video about 3 hours ago that said Trump CFO Alan Weisselberg to plead guilty to perjury for lying at Trump trial. So I haven't had a chance to see what he's saying, but that's not what I read in the article. The article I read said that Alvin Bragg's office was considering, weighing to even charge him. So this is the kind of crap I'm talking about from people who have law degrees. If he's right, he's right. But if he's wrong, I think there should be consequences concerning that law degree or the ability to practice law. And so we'll see. But Alvin Bragg comes under fire along with everybody else. But he comes under fire for the migrants. One of the videos I saw, they called them asylum seekers that kicked those police officers, beat on them, kicked on them, stole their phones. And so that's the in vogue terminology. Instead of migrants, they're asylum seekers. So anyway, so I said, oh, Alvin Bragg's under fire now. And I was wondering when that was going to happen. Hi, Mary. So what do they pull out of their hat right away? I mean, these reporters run to their typewriters or computers or whatever, and they put the story out that this former CFO of Trump Towers may be charged with perjury concerning Letitia James' case about fraud. Now, this guy puts the video out saying he will plead guilty. Well, I don't know. That's a lot to happen in 24 hours. Did I get to see a chance to see all the trucks bringing more fencing? As I said last night, and Nikki put up a post and a link about it too. I said, if you want to watch what's going on at the border, he's been doing videos for about 2 weeks. And I think the way I put it to be funny was you can watch border stuff till your eyeballs fall out of your head. And it's true. I mean, he's right there on the border, right at Eagle Pass. JLR investigates. He was also on the scene when they were doing that manhunt for that guy in Pennsylvania. And, real time. I was on another channel that I quit going to, and somebody had some issue about that kid, JLR, about some gossip or something. I don't pay any attention to it. You shouldn't either. What he does is he physically goes on crime scenes and I guess you could say issues of national importance, just like this border thing. So you can scroll through his channel and he puts up pretty good titles, where he says what's going on and where he is. So you can watch border videos, but that's where I told people, don't believe the clickbaiters that are saying, oh my gosh, somebody could lose their temper and things could go crazy at the border. The truckers are on the way. What if one of them has a rifle and has enough of this invasion and that the border's really open and people are coming through? And just like I said last night, he's on a bluff and he can take the camera all the way down for miles and he zooms in on the spot they're talking about that's wide open. On one side, there's National Guard. On the other side, there's National Guard. That's just an opening for them to get equipment back and forth. But you got the clickbaiters saying there's a big hole in the fence. You know, same bunch that talk about secession and all this other stuff. That's right, Tennessee. Asylum seekers, my ARSE. Ha, ha, ha. Island girl, how you doing? Christina, how you doing? Hi, Sandy. Let's see. How far up am I in the chats? Yeah, he investigates a lot of those big crime stories. You know, you could sit there all day and watch his stuff. I mean, that's what he does. He gets his little car and goes on the road. He says, "Where's the next problem?" All right, William, appreciate it, William. Went by buy me a coffee, so it must not be too hard to do. Oh, Nikki put a link in. That's right. I can't put in links anymore, but after post-broadcast, I want to thank everybody who watches this program post-broadcast. You can either watch the replay of the chats or which they shut down on me for a while, but now they're apparently... So now they're letting the chats replay. But anyway, so after broadcast, you can go to Buy Me a Coffee and just punch in Mountain Man. Anyway, so, you know, Alvin Bragg, I wasn't going to talk about him first, but I might as well. Because he's going into the weekend with an aggravating situation hanging over his head. He's the one that is trying to claim that Trump did something wrong with the Stormy Daniels situation. And as I said, for people that are listening or engage in the chats that try to support the media narrative, I don't want them to repeat idiotic concepts that are going to be proven to be idiotic concepts. And that's what the media is putting out. And that's what the anti-Trump groupies and organizations are putting out, coordinated garbage. And I'm not saying the people that talk about that or repeat it are idiots. I'm not insulting them. I'm saying they're repeating idiotic things, not that they're idiots. Now, that's depending on how mad they make me. That's awful close to where Trump said, don't call Chris Christie a fat slob. I'm not at that point. I am genuinely saying don't repeat things that are false and idiotic. So for them to say that Trump did anything criminal with Stormy Daniels is idiotic. Around the same time, the media doesn't report this. At around the same time, a doorman that worked at Trump Towers, it might have been, Trump Towers, because they have a doorman in Atlantic City too. At building there, it's got Trump's name on it. But a doorman was hitting around that he had a story about Trump having a love child. This was years ago, as was the Stormy Daniels thing. Trump's preparing to run for the presidency. He's trying to clean up all this garbage that they're digging up. And this guy is starting up this business of a love child that he heard as a doorman. He gets to overhear gossip, and word had gotten him, and he wanted a certain amount of money to not publish it in the Inquirer. Same thing is like with Stormy Daniels. And he ended up, I think he only got a lousy $17,000. He got his payday, but he had to resign as doorman. Excuse me while I was sipping my coffee. And there was absolutely no truth to it. It was made up totally out of whole cloth. And hey, was that illegal? No. The guy, he could claim, maybe illegal that he came up with a story. If they could prove that he made it up, yeah, that's illegal. But compensating someone for their silence, that happens all the time. As long as it's not about an illegal, something illegal. There's nothing illegal about people have affairs, That's civil. Ends up a lot of time in divorces and what have you, but people don't go to jail for having affairs. People don't go to jail for having a love child. Oh, Dan Scavino put out a video, Game of Thrones. Yeah, he put out another video. I got a little clip. I'll play it next time. See if y'all catch it. It's a real short clip. And see if y'all catch anything in it. I'll do that Sunday or Monday, I guess. Hi, Damon. We're doing okay. Hope you're doing well, too. Whoa, where'd everybody go? There we are. Single songwriter. How you doing? So, anyway, I just found it curious that my news feed pops up with this, and Trump mentioned him at one of his recent rallies. He said it was a disgrace that a man in his 70s who had an excellent reputation, worked for him for years, did a great job, had to go to jail on a plea deal for a brand new dreamt up application of the so-called law. Then you get the situation in New York with the migrants and the police, and Alan Bragg gets some heat on him. And then I see news reports that this guy's under suspicion, or that they're thinking of charging Trump's CFO. Well, that's not the only thing they came up with. In my thumbnail, you'll see, and then this guy, Glenn Kirshner, I've got to see that. If this video is claiming that that fellow is actually is not pleading guilty, or has not pled guilty yet, I'm going to see who I can report that to. I don't know if he's got a bar association or what he's got, but the hidden door. Have you all heard that? The hidden door. Now I got this stupid article about Jack Smith, but I'll go over them with you. I got some screenshots of more garbage that they're putting up about Jack Smith shirts. People are actually spending money wearing Jack Smith shirts like he's a hero. What a damn joke. But anyway, so they put out an article. Trump had a hidden room and another hidden door that they may have missed. And the way the article's written came out today. 4 hours ago. And the way they have it written, like these mouth breathers, that's what I'll call them, the mouth breathers that can't stand Trump. There's Weisselberg's article. I'll get to him in a minute. Let me see. They'll think, oh, Trump, like Trump's sitting there hiding, here we go, hiding stuff behind a door. This was about noon, the article came out. And then more articles followed. And it was by ABC News. So, okay, we've already tied ABC News into smothering the Jeffrey Epstein story. I played the video, the girl, the reporter talking about it. We already know ABC News conducted the production of the J6 committee, produced a script, okay, a layout of where everybody's supposed to be, edited the videos they were playing for the public to see, all ABC. And a lot more with ABC. We know ABC is owned by Disney. So anyway, special counsel questioned witnesses about 2 rooms FBI didn't search inside Trump's Mar-a-Lago. Oh my gosh. Special counsel Jack Smith's team has questioned several witnesses about a closet in a so-called, quote, hidden room inside former President Donald Trump's residence at Mar-a-Lago that the FBI didn't check while searching the estate in August of 2022. Sources familiar with the matter told ABC News. All these Trump haters, all these mouth breathers, a hidden room, a secret closet in Mar-a-Lago. So you and I know it's idiocy, but anyway, as described to ABC News, the line of questioning in several interviews ahead of Trump's indictment last year on classified document charges, long after the FBI seized dozens of boxes and more than 100 documents marked classified. Smith's team was trying to determine if there might still be more classified documents there. Well, we'll see if they get back in there again. But I'm going to read this. It's going to bring up something else I brought up in the past. See if y'all catch it. So, according to sources, some investigators involved in the case came to later believe that the closet, which was locked on the day of the search, should have been opened and checked. As investigators would later learn, Trump allegedly had the closet's lock changed while his attorney was in the Mar-a-Lago basement searching for classified documents in a storage room that he was told would have all such documents. Trump changed the lock on a closet. Trump's alleged efforts to conceal classified documents from both the FBI and his own attorney are a key part of Smith's indictment against Trump. Okay, so we're setting the stage here. Never mind the fact, I'll keep going with the article in a minute, but never mind the fact that it was already decided in the Clinton Sox case that he's entitled to have those documents, and that any moron would know that the military's tracked those documents, knows what Trump has and what Trump doesn't have, and that they were under lock and key and guarded by the Secret Service. So anyway, let's go on with this crap. Jordan Strauss, a former federal prosecutor and former national security official in the Justice Department, called the FBI's alleged failure to search the closet, quote, a bit astonishing. You're searching a former president's house. You should get it right the first time. Ha ha! There should have never been a first time. And that is what Eileen Cannon is in charge. I'll go on with the article in a second, but that is what Eileen Cannon is in charge of. That's who Jack Smith had this, quote, secret meeting with, ex parte. Then all of a sudden, Chutkin's case gets plucked off the calendar with no comment. All right. In addition to the closet, the FBI also didn't search what authorities have called a, quote, hidden room connected to Trump's bedroom. Wow. Smith's investigators were later told that in the days right after the search, some of Trump's employees heard that the FBI missed at least one room. They're into repeating themselves now. According to the senior FBI official, agents focused on areas they believed might have government documents. I got to make sure I don't fall out of my live stream. Make sure the chats are still flowing. I can't stay out too long. Based on information gathered through the court's investigation, areas were identified and searched pursuant to the warrant, the official told ABC News. Oh man, where's the rest of it where they discussed? Well, I go ahead and tell you, because I didn't get a copy of that last page because I said, oh, I'll talk about that. I remember that. What they said was, at the time of the search, Trump was in Bedminster, New Jersey, which was his primary residence, and was not searched. And they ain't gonna search it either. That's what I said. That Bedminster was where Trump went when he found out Trump Towers was bugged. He went out, left that day. Within a 24-hour period, he and his transition team were in Bedminster, and they ain't going to get in that. That's a highly classified area, and Biden isn't going to be able to get into that. So anyway, one of the rooms, what they call a room in Trump's bedroom, has a door behind a desk and a large TV. Supposedly you pull that out and there's a door back there. And they say what they heard about that secret room, it's not like you open a door and there's a room. You open the door and there's a staircase. The framework of a staircase. And underneath that, you've seen that in houses. Underneath the staircase, you can store stuff. But what this part of the room is, or underneath that staircase, is where they run cables and wires and for television, telephone, and stuff like that. And then they put the hatch back. It's probably a hatch, not a door. Or put it back over it and put the desk back up against it. So I was able to deduce that from the article itself. But that's why I put my thumbnail. But what about the hidden room? Hidden rooms in the plural. One's a closet, and one they say claim is a room. And they throw this confetti out today around, I don't know, 1 o'clock, somewhere around there, when everybody is suspicious as to what that was, that meeting with Cannon and Jack Smith, and how come Trump's case vanished off the docket right after that meeting. I believe he got his ASS thumped, or he was put on notice in some form or another, because, as I said, he had about as much authority as a bum off the street. And that's in one of my thumbnails, bum off the street. He was not lawfully appointed, okay, to be a constitutional officer to this degree, to be able to conduct the investigations he's conducting. He's got no more business doing than a bum off the street. Chris Bell, thank you. I appreciate it, Chris. Let me see if I didn't see you in the chats, but hello, cameraman. Anybody that I may have missed, I appreciate you going to buy me a coffee and helping me out. And what I was talking about yesterday, I said, I thought that was going to be the equivalent of being taken behind the woodshed, if you all will remember that. And apparently, I'm right. And on further thoughts, this is serious business. As much as the left wants to cackle and babble and continue to try to portray Trump as some foolish, spoiled person, having temper tantrum, the gig. They're screwing with our elections, and they've already stolen one, and they're screwing around with our foreign policy, and it's dangerous to our country. So there's a very, very serious, I won't even call it a game. There's a very serious process going on right now. It's not a game. It's a process. And we're prosecuting a war. We're at war, and I've played enough tapes to show when Trump was not kidding around when he was saying that. So you got Alvin Bragg on the ropes. You got Jack Smith with his secret meeting. Now they're leaking out this business about hidden rooms so people won't talk about it. He wasn't properly appointed and he has no authority. And he's a suspect in an international extortion scheme. Okay? Nobody's checking into that. And that extortion scheme, I'm wondering, especially for those of you who've been with me for a long time, where I played Putin talking at a press conference at a podium in front of the world, where he talked about intelligence, members of the intelligence community making off with over $300 million from Russia under the promise there would be better relationships. And they ended up donating money to the Clinton campaign. And he said they escaped the country with the money and never paid taxes on it. And, he never got what they promised, which was Hillary being president and better relations. Maybe that's part of the extortion that they're looking at, or a similar scam, kind of like Fani Willis. So we got Jack Smith, what's his name? Alvin Bragg. We'll get to these others in a minute. They've all got some percolating. Judge Kaplan on the E.G. Carroll case, he's got his problems. Letitia James with Angoron, she's got problems. But Fani Willis is the one people have been paying attention to the most, because it is comically, the corruption is almost comedic. And the videos that people are playing where she said, I'm not going to tolerate somebody having, and she said the word S3X, right, with an employee. That kind of behavior is just not acceptable in this office. And I want to ask you all, was I hallucinating about 6 months ago? Didn't we hear that Fani Willis was alleged to be having a relationship with a rap singer that she was supposed to be prosecuting under RICO? You all remember that? I remember it. Nobody's perfect. I could be wrong, right? Do you all remember that story? And then Trump hired the rapper's attorney, and I was laughing about it. And as far as I know, Trump still has this that attorney on his team. So that might be another smack in the chop she's going to get. But you know, that's why I call we're Mountain Man News, right? I got to change that title. I got Mountain Man Speaks Up there. I'm going to change that back to Mountain Man News because we knew. Whoa, where's my screen going dark for? Oops. Angel, the screen intelligent community is not being run by intelligent people right now. Yeah, that's true. I leave my finger on my screen was going dark for a second. But anyway, so we knew about a lot of stuff, just like we knew Jack Smith was not going into that meeting in the strongest of positions. And I would love to, you know, of course, we have such a thing as state secrets. And maybe we'll never know, but it might be in the history books. At least we'll get an outline of it. There you are, Chris. Thank you for going to buy me coffee. Appreciate it. I was looking for your message in there. It's nice to see you. Yeah, she was. Hilarious remembers. Debbie said, yep. And Phil said, yep. So I guess my memories, I thought, well, maybe I mistook that for Letitia. But, you know, the Fani situation, we could sit and talk for over an hour just on Fani. I mean, they're putting up copies of the tickets to these exotic places, okay? And they got a big G stamped on there. That means it's paid by government funds, whether it's state, federal, local, whatever it is. Whenever you use a municipality or government to pay on a card or what, through a computer transaction, it's stamped right there on the tickets. Then I started thinking, well, maybe she'll get out of it if she was down in the Virgin Islands. Okay, now wait, now give her the benefit of the doubt. She's got her top prosecutor with her, or maybe he's on top. I don't know. But anyway, they're both down there, right? And they're in the Virgin Islands. Maybe they were investigating J.P. Morgan. The email said J.P. Morgan entered into the court record showing how half of the government officials in the Virgin Islands were on the take from Jeffrey Epstein. So we'll give her the benefit of the doubt. Maybe she was down there uncovering that corruption. I don't know. I could be wrong. So anyway, so you got Jim Jordan subpoenaing her. And I got the letter from Jim Jordan to her. I'm not going to read the whole thing. But if you remember, he sent her a letter a couple of months ago. And Robert Gavoya did a review of Fani Willis's response. And, you know, in a professional letter, with anger, such printing all we did. She wrote a letter back to Jim Jordan telling him, baby, you're obstructing my justice. You know, talking to Congress as a little nitty-witty local prosecutor. You're okay, that's fine. Well, Jim Jordan sent her a letter back. And he's like, hey, there's no doubt now you using federal money. Because what else happened? Never mind the tickets, the plane tickets. Never mind the almost $1 million she gave to her lover. That was from COVID money, federal money. What else happened? Well, she was fortunate enough. Well, Georgia, the state of Georgia, was fortunate enough to have in their employ an honest person. And this honest person, she was dizzy, but honest. And I'm saying she's dizzy because she believes in government programs solving the world's problems. But hey, she went in there to give it her best. A diversion program to keep kids out of prison, find alternatives, to pound it through their heads. Look, you boneheads, you're going down the wrong road. You're getting these vocational courses. You sign up for the National Guard or whatever they have. And she wanted to do it. She was ready. I'm going to change the lives of these young ruffians, you know. So she shows up. All her grant money, or the grant money for her program that she's working on, has already been divvied up. They made plans for that money. What are you talking about helping kids? We're going to get this, we're going to get that, and I need a new car. We're tired of this cheap coffee in a conference room. We want the gourmet coffee, whatever they were doing with it. And she went through the process, you know, hey, this, you can't spend this money that way. This money is finite and it's not for the purposes intended. Well, she gets menaced and she learns what not just Georgia, all right, but all bureaucracies, all right, all bureaucracies. If they could do something in life and be successful, they'd be doing it. All right, they wouldn't be sitting behind some desk being a pencil pusher and trying to figure out how to grift money off taxpayer. But anyway, so she recorded it, and Fani fired her. She recorded her conversation unbeknownst to Fani, and Fani said, well, you know, gave her the soft pedal and stuff like that, where, you know, what you're doing is wonderful. You're a great person, but didn't change a damn thing. They're going to steal the money anyway. And they fired her, this whistleblower. So that was a federal grant also. So Jim Jordan, let me see what that letter said. Jim Jordan was very polite in his letter. I'll get to that letter in a second. I'm on my screen here where I found a news report from 6 days ago. And it's a little news blurb about a councilman in LA. Here's a title. It's from KCAL News. Former LA councilman Huzar is his name, sentenced to 13 years in prison. That just happened. Don't you think if some government official goes to jail for 13 years, that should at least make the national news once, not on a 3-minute YouTube channel from some unknown news organization? But it was the usual stuff: taking bribes, skimming money, misdirecting money, pocketing money. So he's going to be sitting in the joint. That, hey, for a politician, that's a long damn time. Usually it's house arrest and this and that. Well, there's a story. I guess I'll save this for the next time. FBI confirms it issued a remote KILL command to blow out Volt Typhoon's botnet. Okay. And this is CHYNA. CHYNA was putting a malware into some old Netgear systems where they could infiltrate, do a possible cyber attack. So anyway, between them and the Iranians, something's going to happen with a cyber attack. We just got to be ready for it. I'll talk about this story, but they apparently nipped it in the bud, like Barney Fife used to say, nip it, Andy, we got to nip it. So anyway, okay, I'm just looking through the, Debbie, you got to put a 0 instead of an O for that name. Roths, and then the other half is child. Because it's funny you should mention that name, Debbie, because I got a picture of the spirit cooker with him in front of a painting. That the painting is titled Satan Summons His Army or something like that. Now I'll find out the name of it for sure, because I was going to put that on one of my picture shows. Anyway, there, Maria Abramovich standing next to that Roths, and then the other half is child person in front of a famous painting. Anyway, here's a story. Manhattan prosecutors are weighing a potential perjury charge against Donald Trump's former corporate finance chief in connection with testimony he gave in October at the ex-president's New York civil fraud trial. Two people with the matter, familiar with the matter, told the Associated Press. Now, I'll read this in a second, but how they put ex-president, it's always former president. I've talked about before what the protocols are for judges, elected officials like sheriffs, Anyway, Kaplan, this is not the fraud trial. This is the BS E. Jean Carroll trial. Judge Kaplan, for now, went out of his way to call out anyone who referred to President Trump as President Trump. He insisted he would be named Donald Trump. And that is nothing but a rank display of disdain, okay? Of disdain for another branch of government. Whether he likes it or not is not an issue. And Trump was the president of the United States, the chief executive, that is one branch of government. Kaplan is a junior little nitwit in the judicial branch. They should show deference and respect for the office. If they can't bring themselves to like the person that held the office, that's tough. So I fully look for him. We can't have write it down. And Goron's going to be out. Kaplan is going to be out. That one down in Florida, Middleburg, I think his name is. All these characters that are assisting in this election interference, this character assassination, coordinated libel. They're all going to be removed. and some of them are going to be prosecuted. I think Jack Smith's going to be prosecuted, and Fani Willis is going to be. We know Fani Willis is going to be prosecuted, and her boyfriend. And I said that at the very beginning of this, before any of these other scandals came up. I said, don't be surprised if she's not indicted. So anyway, this Mr. Weisselberg, who was Trump's financial officer, okay, and he served 100 days. 100 days in jail last year, and they say for dodging taxes on $1.7 million in off the books compensation from Trump Organization. It was for corporate perks, employee perks. And I liken that to, I put out a warning. I said, okay, all you TDS freaks, especially the ones that worked for Twitter, that Elon Musk SH, and that's it, canned. All right, got rid of them. 80% of them, thousands of them. You didn't report your free lattes. You didn't report your free Uber rides. You didn't report your free yoga classes as income and pay taxes on it. How about you doing your 100 days in jail? All of you. And all of these bonehead attorneys that are putting out, supporting this kind of gibberish. How about the perks you get from your law firm, okay, that you don't put a value on and report as income and pay taxes on? All your asses should go to jail if Weisselman's got to go to jail. The reporter that wrote this article that I'm reading, okay, how about you, buddy? Did you report the any equipment that was issued to you, like a computer? Or how many cups of coffee you drink every year in the press room as income and pay taxes on it? A new charge with a threat of more jail time would upend the 76-year-old's Florida retirement and could weigh on his fierce allegiance to his old boss, who continues to pay his $2 million severance and legal bills. Before anybody says anything about anything improper there, severance pay is part of an employment package. You don't work for a company for 25 years, 30 years, and don't get severance pay. You don't get charged with something as a result of your service to the company and be left hung out to dry. It's in your contract that you will be assisted with your legal bills. But the reporter gave the crux away of these charges, that it would weigh heavily on his allegiance to Trump. They're trying to get him to say something bad about Trump. The inquiry to the truthfulness of Weisselberg's testimony in the civil trial lawsuit is separate from the criminal case that Bragg brought against Trump last year over the allegations he falsified company records to cover up hush money payments. That trial is scheduled to begin in late March. Okay, so this is different from Jack Smith's trial. This is different. This is when Alvin Bragg is going to be in a hot seat, okay? It wasn't clear what part of Weisselberg's testimony drew the scrutiny of prosecutors in the office of Alvin Bragg. A decision on charging Weisselberg didn't appear imminent. So if this report came out today on my news feed from U.S. World News Report, what's this attorney I just mentioned doing a YouTube video saying that Weisselberg has pled guilty, has done a plea deal? Bragg's office was in the preliminary stages of discussions internally and with Weisselberg's team. The people said, what people? they may not necessarily lead to a criminal charge. The people were not authorized to speak publicly and did so on a condition of anonymity. Oh, so it's a leak. It's a leak from who? Isn't a leak from Alvin Bragg's office an illegal leak? That's what Jeff Sessions said he was going to get the bottom to. These illegal leaks. He said, I guarantee you people will go to jail. And he wasn't just talking about leaks about the Trump administration. He was talking in his capacity as Attorney General. Grand jury leaks, investigative leaks, all that stuff falls under the purview of the Attorney General. And especially if he's been made a special counsel as a directly appointed officer. That doesn't have to be reported to anybody. So anyway, news of potential perjury charge was first reported by the New York Times. Messages seeking comment were left with Weisselberg's office. Bragg's office declined comment. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, yeah, that was today this came out. 14 hours ago. That was this morning or late last night. So I'll see what that so-called attorney, but I can't communicate with them because I've said before, you're going to lose your license when this is over if you got one. If you got one, you shouldn't have it because you have a mental illness or you are misconstruing the law. And, you know, they get a hold of YouTube and complain about me, and you know what happens there, folks. Let me see what's going on in the chats. Yeah, AI. That dust up, them saying, and didn't we call it? Didn't we? I said that they were claiming Trump had syphilis, remember? And then, don't you know, they come up with a goofy little picture, which they claim shows red stains on Trump's hand. And James Carville said the word syphilis. Okay? And I said that last week, that they were claiming Trump had syphilis. It's so easy to see and Trump put out a statement. I don't know what they're talking about, what that is. It could be AI. And, you know, Trump gave a speech right after that, held his hands up like he does, talks with his hands. There was nothing on his hands, nothing on his bright white shirt, nothing. Moron did some strikes. What is that article? I see what you're saying there, Nikki. Did. They said a single songwriter. Well, Trump, those are blisters from golfing on Mr. T's hands. That's what somebody reported. But Trump himself said there's nothing going on my hands. And he gave a speech that day, held his palms up a couple of times where he's talking. You didn't see anything. I can put tears in people's eyes. I can put all kinds of stuff with my Photoshop. You can too. So let's see who Biden bombed today. They're not happy unless they're starting a war. Well, here we got some other things. Here's that one video. Time to worry. WTH is going on with DC appeals delay on Trump ruling. This is a retired federal worker who's doing a YouTube channel. One of the, and I am not kidding, millions of dead weight in the federal government. And I said Trump was going to start Schedule F, removing this dead weight from federal governments. But folks, don't worry, because there's going to be a lot of job opportunities let me tell you something, because there is going to be competent forensic accountants. That if I was choosing a career, there'd be a couple things that I would really be zeroing in on, because it is going to be for honest, good, smart, well-trained people. They're going to have thousands, because this country is going to get an enema to rid it of corruption. There's going to be, like I said, competent forensic accountants are going to be needed. They're going to help, like I said about that movie, Danny Kaye movie, it's called The Inspector General. And it's about this guy that shows up at a village or town, and they think he's the Inspector General, and he's not. And all of a sudden they're kissing his ring. They're giving him anything he wants because they think he's got the power of an Inspector General. So we're going to have Inspector Generals that are not on the TAKE, okay? We're going to have vetted and reputable Inspector Generals, not just for these government things. I'm talking just like Carrie Lake said, state, local, federal, municipalities around towns. I'm telling you, they're going to be getting visits because we have been being brutalized and abused for decades. And we got one shot at straightening this out. And so we got to go through there and flush it all out. So all this dead weight, all these creepos, boneheads, like this guy saying, what's going on with DC Court of Appeals? And he tells about one judge, a liberal, her last name is Pan. And this is what I'm talking about, repeating idiotic statements. He repeats an idiotic statement with seriousness. He said, it's just like, this is a paraphrase. He said, it's just like Judge Pan was saying, what if Trump got special forces to take a drone and wipe out his political opponent? Trump would be immune. Well, that is idiotic. A example to use by a justice sitting on a bench. That in itself is so inflammatory and ignorant that would merit her removal, as far as I'm concerned. And there's a 25th Amendment, okay? First of all, any branch of the armed forces cannot execute illegal orders. 1. 2, if he were to manage to get something like that, somebody to do it for him, and it was discovered, he would either be criminally insane, okay, or just a flat out criminal. No one's saying a president gets complete immunity. A cabinet, presidential cabinet, that's the purpose of a cabinet, a presidential cabinet. They can remove him if he's unable to properly execute his duties, whether it's mental illness, physical illness, or whatever, or he's a homicidal maniac, like Pan is saying. So you have these dopey liberals run around. Trump wants to be able to have special forces bomb his opponent. What idiocy is coming out of their mouths? But wait a minute. Biden got his Justice Department to raid Donald Trump's home. Men with guns, women with guns. But they're making this crazy kind of discussion at a appeals court level. Anyway, I didn't mean to go off on that tangent. But yeah, repeating idiocy. Repeating idiocy.
So this idiot, his name is Harry Litman. Harry Litman. He probably worked pushing a pencil, accomplishing nothing, getting paid top buck for doing nothing, getting benefits, federal benefits. Still got I'm guarantee you he's got a retirement check coming in, when he really should have been stocking shelves at a hardware store. Oh, wait a minute. We don't have any local hardware stores anymore because Walmart's taken over every small town. We're going to do something about that too, with this unfair trade balance with China. And Judge Pan, she can go work at a Starbucks or something. She's that damn stupid to inflame the populace, inflame the body politic with a bunch of irrational potentialities that are ridiculous on their face. There's no place for that kind of talk on a judicial bench. And I might as well say what Trump put out about Fani Willis. I think it was his last post before I went live. Fani Willis, the DA of Fulton County, just admitted to having a S3 actual relationship with the prosecutor, she, in consultation with the White House. Oh my gosh, I forgot to put that out there. The White House and the Department of Justice, they've got the records, they've got notes, they've got visitor logs. Okay? That's on top of all the other crap. He was appointed to, quote, get President Donald J. Trump, unquote. By going after the most high-level person and the Republican nominee, she was able to get her, quote, lover much more money, almost $1 million, than she would be able to get her for the prosecution of any other person or individual. Capital letters. That means that this scam is totally discredited and over. So he's not even getting into much more than that. This stuff we've talked about with the stuff Jim Jordan's going to be digging, and he had to have a smile on his face when he wrote that letter. Oh, not all Harvard lawyers are bad. I've gone on about Harvard, and there's some good ones to get through. If you like watching reviews of trials, if you want to keep up with current cases and stuff, I recommend Harvard Lawyer Lee, L-E-E, Harvard Lawyer Lee. She's a nice lady. She reports on stuff that, of national interest, current trials, like the Adelson's case. And what was this one she was just working on? She did a live stream on Michelle Troconis trial, stuff like that. So Harvard Lawyer Lee, I'm just being fair because Harvard makes me sick, and Harvard is a nest of Marxists and commies. But there are attorneys who graduate from Harvard that they don't get to. Okay, so anyway, I'm just being fair. So, and Carl Weathers, who played Apollo Creed in Rocky, passed away. Remember when James Brown was singing the song "Living in America"? Hit me, hit him. What? You got a 2x4? But anyway, Carl Weathers died. He was 76 years old. He had a good run. No, nothing about the cause of his passing. But U.S. strikes Iranian-backed militants. To answer your question, Nikki, in Iraq and Syria. Not Iran now. Remember, Iran put out a statement about hitting on their soil. And according to Trump, in as little as 2 weeks or sooner, they should have a NUKE. He said 34 days, and that was about maybe 19 days ago. I don't know, or 15 days ago, 15, 19 days ago. I thought it was unusual that he used a specific number of days, 34 days. So anyway, the operation seemed to signal the start of what officials have said would be a multi-day campaign against various targets near Iran. So that is Iraq and Syria after the deadly attack in Jordan. And Jack Posobiec echoed what I was saying at the very beginning of this, and I've talked about in the past, where Trump ordered troops away from that hot spot. And after he left office, certain people in the military were bragging that they purposefully defied his orders and left the troops there. So none of this would be happening. Jack Posobiec said, why do we have 3,000 troops in harm's way in the Middle East when we can launch bombers from the U.S. to hit Iranian proxy forces? Oh, we could hit Iran for that matter. They're human meat shields acting as a tripwire to trigger a wider war with Iran. So in the back of my mind, and everything in the back of y'all's mind too, boom, Fani Willis gets smacked. Boom, Jack gets smacked. Boom, you got Alvin Bragg getting the business. All the stuff coming out, what do they usually do? They come up with stuff to distract. So far, okay, they came up with the charges against Trump's CFO, senior financial officer, threatening him and having that cover the news up, then claiming hidden doors and hidden rooms to cover that up too. What if that's not enough? What if the Sunday talk shows are still going on about Fani Willis possibly going to be indicted and arrested for stealing federal money and misappropriating money? Never mind what kind of charges she could have for election interference, which is under the purview of the Department of Defense. And also, I want to reiterate about a 17 post that said what would happen. What would happen if emails are disclosed concerning discussions about harming or worse the President of the United States? Donald, well, what if the Biden team puts up something fake about Biden? All right. So I saw Kristi Noem on some talk shows, and she said something very interesting that echoed what I was talking about last night. She said, a border bill isn't needed, the usual stuff we know. But then she also said, Biden doesn't need emergency powers. That made my antennas go up. What's Kristi Noem bringing that up on national television for? How come we haven't heard that? Emergency powers. Nobody said that lately that we've heard. And what did I say that I found interesting? Biden had said 2 days in a row, give me the power. Remember this, folks. Remember what I'm talking about here. They could play that assassination card. All right, emergency powers. What could he do with emergency powers? What did Justin Trudeau do? Justin Trudeau invoked emergency powers, remember? He used them to shut down people's bank accounts. He used them to call in UN mercenaries. We saw the planes at the tarmac. We saw the goons 6'8", 6'9" goons that didn't speak any dialect anybody knew, in uniform, their faces covered, hundreds of them beating up truckers. They confiscated people's trucks because they already took their GUNs, but they haven't got to that yet here. So was Kristi Noem giving us a little hint about what's being discussed? Because they can pass something like that overnight. Hilarious Biden has the power to close the border. Yes, he's asking for more power. As he powers, so that tells me it's unpublicized, but being discussed, that the Biden administration is trying to get some form of increased emergency powers. And remember that Obama, Kerry, and Biden were all pushing for an agreement with the UN that under, quote, certain circumstances, the UN could, in cooperation, supposedly with the U.S. government, come on this soil and assist in confiscating weapons. That was discussed and promoted and promulgated at the UN under the the Obama administration. So I'm just telling you, folks, these are facts. These are facts. I'm not dreaming stuff up. I'm not talking any. You don't see any of that stuff in my titles. But I'm telling you to be wary of it. Kristi Noem gave us a little hint that emergency powers are in there, and Biden's been hollering for, give me the power, for the past 2 days. Watch out for it. I don't think it's the real Biden either. So anyway, folks, I appreciate you all coming in tonight, and everybody who watches after the broadcast. I know a lot of people got unsubscribed and their notifications were cut off, and it really last night's broadcast didn't get out about a third as good as usual. But I appreciate you all being tenacious and sticking in there. And if you're not subscribed, please subscribe and hit the notification bell so you know when I go live. And I haven't been saying it through the broadcast, but get a chance, pop out and give me a thumbs up. Why don't you do it right now? If you haven't done it yet, I'll stay on here for a minute to make sure I'm here when you get back. You jump out, give me a thumbs back, and come back, because I'm going to make sure I haven't forgotten anything, because I probably, unless something big happens, I'm not going to broadcast tomorrow, okay? The other thing I was going to say about Letitia James, don't forget that we have been privy to the fact that Soros money received by her, 6 figures, over $250,000, is being looked at, okay? And that some legal experts, did you get that thumbs up hit? Great. Some legal thumbs up, some legal experts have said that in order to charge Trump with fraud, the legal term fraud has to have some prerequisites, okay? There has to be an injured party, all right? There has been some harm has had to have been done to someone. There has to be a victim. And under no circumstances, under any presentation, under any scenario, can they say that any of Donald Trump's business dealings had any person who had any harm done to them. There was no victim, no complainant, except a candidate for office and a crooked judge. So that's been put out. That's been put out for everybody to read too. All right, folks. So we got them all on the run, every single one of them. So anyway, all right, folks. Well, you all have a great night. Thank you, Richard. Yeah, Nikki said on the way out, if you hadn't done, hit the thumbs up. Ha ha. Thank you, Chris, and thank you, Christopher, for helping me out with Buy Me a Coffee here this evening, and I appreciate it. And you all have a great night, and I will be seeing you soon. This is Mountain Man, over and out.